Hey there, planners. Today I am setting up my bullet journal and ring planner for work for the month of June. Go grab your planners and let's get planning. All right, so to start this monthly setup, I'm going to start with my work bullet journal, which I just set up a brand new bullet journal for work. I have some amazing setup pages along with a lot of goal setting. I'm also in a new role, so there's a lot of new going on in the month of June. If you missed the bullet journal setup video, go check that out. I'll leave a card above, and I'll also leave it linked down in the description box below for you to check out. All right, so I have done a bit of pre-planning. I did pencil some things in just to sketch out how I want it to go, put a couple sticky notes in. I've got a couple of different setups or pages that I'm going to be using this month. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set this up and then talk through how I'm using this new layout for the month of June. All right, so here's the monthly setup page for June. I've got my mini calendar in here, and I used to actually print these and tape these in. Now I have them laminated and I've actually got them clipped in. I do like to move them through, as sometimes I'll move this to other sections of the month of June as I'm going. So that's a bit of a change. The way I've set this up, I actually spent some time, and I do this every time I set up a new bullet journal, I spend some time going back through my old work bullet journals. I've used a bullet journal for work for, I want to say 6 or 7 years now, a very long time. And so I have incorporated many different styles of spreads into my work bullet journal over the years. And sometimes the spread will work really well for a period of time, and then it kind of drops off and I end up using something else. But going back and looking, it always gives me great ideas of things that I want to try out again to see how they're working, and that's exactly what I did to pull some elements for this setup. So the first section I have here are goals. I did a very lengthy, detailed video in my bullet journal setup for this new bullet journal around goal setting. And so if you are interested in seeing how I set goals professionally, go check that video out. But that setup and that process lends itself very well to be able to identify clearly what are the goals for this month, for the month of June. And so I am going to be pulling from those goals right into here to be able to say, you know, what do I need to accomplish this month? And this is great because it also helps me set up the weeks. So I know what I need to accomplish and how I need to spread that over the weeks. I've got a section here called Index, and this is a new one. So as you can see, this is a Stylogy A5 bullet journal, which comes with pages that are not numbered. I actually take the painstaking time to number all of the pages. And this is a A5 Stylogy 365, which means it has 365 pages. Yeah, so grab yourself a coffee and put on a great TV show and number pages. That's a fun activity. But I did want to, the reason I do that is because I do at times need to be able to reference something specific in the bullet journal on a certain page. Now, a lot of folks set up an index for the entire journal. I don't need that. But what I do need is to be able to quickly get to, within a month, certain pages. So let's say there's a staff meeting, and I've captured meeting notes for that staff meeting somewhere in the month of June. I would just come over here and put staff meeting and the page numbers that it's on. That way I have a quick reference for just those key aspects within the month that I need to find. I also have a section for key dates, and this is just to keep it in front of me as part of my planning. There might be key meetings or due dates, deadlines, things like that that stand out. I would list them here. This page is a page that I will use throughout the month to capture things as they come in. So I've got a wins section. I want to make sure that now that I've done my goal setting, I am starting to capture and recognize the things that I consider wins and the lessons that I learn. I'm still fairly new in my role. I am learning a whole lot, and very quickly. There's a steep learning curve, and I'm climbing it, so I want to make sure I'm capturing lessons as I go. These two are going to be great to be able to come back to at the end of the year as well, or at the end of the month or the end of the quarter as I'm evaluating progress. These two sections are really going to help me. And as I'm onboarding new team members to my organization, I can also start to capture kind of kudos, for team members and capture those here as well. I have a section called stakeholders. So I'm in a new role. that's in a new department, and I'm finding that I'm having to network and meet a lot of new folks who have varied interest in the work that I'm doing, or my work impacts theirs. They're just a whole bunch of new stakeholders. And so as I'm learning new stakeholders, I want to make sure I'm capturing them there. I do keep a file called a stakeholder register. And this is something I've done for years, but it's just a listing of stakeholders for me and the work that I do. And I capture who they are, what part of the organization are they in, what are their primary and secondary interests. So what do they care about? What is their interest in the work that I'm doing, or how do I need to stay in touch with them based on what topics they're interested in? So this will help me populate that for the new position that I'm in. And then the final section I have is oversight. And this is a section that I used quite a bit in older bullet journals, and I really see the value as I'm coming up to speed in this new role and staffing a brand new organization. So I'm bringing a new team on, folks who are all new to this role, their roles, and I'm going to be probably providing a bit more oversight in the beginning than I will as time progresses. And so I just want to keep track of anything that I've delegated or tasks that have been assigned, just to make sure things are progressing as they should until everybody is really comfortable and, highly functioning in their role. So this is the introductory page for my June work bullet journal. I'm going to flip over, set up the next pages, and then come back and talk about how I'm going to use those. All right, here's the next two spreads in my bullet journal setup. So this one is a goodie, oldie but goodie. It's the brain dump. You guys know how much I love these brain dumps. And in my ring bound planner, I do have my brain dump triggers here that once a week, I pop these out and pull them over and do a brain dump. I also do one at the beginning of every month just to get everything out for the month. I do come back to this list and use it somewhat like a master task list. And by the end of the month, I want to make sure I have everything captured in here, designated as, not necessary and canceled, or scheduled, put on the future log, somewhere in my planning system. I like to have that kind of inbox 0 by the end of the month. So the second spread is called an Eisenhower matrix, and this is not a new tool. It's been around a long time, but it's new to my bullet journal, and I'm really excited to use this. So the concept here is you have 4 quadrants that fall into 2 continuums based on urgency and importance. So across the top, I have urgent items and not urgent items. So anything that falls under the urgent heading would be something that really does need to be done as soon as possible. Anything on the not urgent is just not, I have some time. I can schedule it or decide what to do with it. And then along this side, we have importance. So this section is not important or not as important. This section is very important. So the concept here is if it falls into this quadrant, it is both urgent and important, and these would be do it now items. If it falls into this quadrant, these would be important but not urgent items. So I want to make sure that I am scheduling those. This one would be urgent but not important, or not as important. These are items that I could consider delegating or looking if they belong somewhere else, if really I'm the right person to be doing this. And then these items are not urgent and not important, and according to the Eisenhower matrix, these are deleted items. I'm not sure if all of them are going to be deleted. They could be file items, or someday maybe items that I would put on that list. And so I'm really interested to see. I want to use this as a bit of an inbox when I'm doing my weekly reviews of my daily pages, and I capture things that need that are kind of incoming items. I want to try to plot them out on this matrix to see where they land and evaluate if this is a helpful tool for me this month. After this comes my daily pages, and I will just start setting up daily pages and rapid logging. And I do that by putting a header on the top with the date for every page, and I just write out any notes, any meeting notes, any conversations that I have, any brainstorming thoughts, anything that comes to mind. I just keep flipping the pages and using as many as I need for the month of June, coming back to these pages as needed to add in things. So that's the bullet journal setup. Let me flip over to the planner. So The page I really want to focus on setting up is the monthly overview page, and then I do have my weekly pages, which I will start setting up as I get closer into the week. I've already used the cover, the divider, as kind of a sticky note place. I grab sticky notes as I learn about things and I just capture them here. So what I want to do is plug them into the monthly overview. I will start filling in important dates and must-do items based on what's in my sticky notes. And be back after I get this set up. All right, really quick to set up. I know there will be more items that come into the must-do once I finish my brainstorming, which I'll do off camera just based on the nature of the work I do, but I did capture some important dates. I also set up this section as a little goal progress tracker. I think this will be interesting. I plan on just using a highlighter and coming in here and kind of tracking progress against the goals that I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, and how I've broken them down for the month of June. So that is my ring planner setup and my bullet journal setup for the month of June. I hope you got value out of this. I hope you got ideas out of it. I would love to hear, how is your work planning system going, or have you had any changes? What's included in your work planning system? I would love to hear if you've ever used the Eisenhower matrix and how that works for you, if you found it helpful, anything I should know going into the month of June and planning to use that new tool in my system. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to Planning Annie for more content like this, and as always, thanks for planning with me.